Hi, Pete.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm so excited to be in here.
Well, welcome.
Well, I wanted to tell you, first of all, I read your RGJ article and I've been dying to get in here. First of all, I love your music. I think you just, and your fashion on stage.
Thank you.
Was like, is this just a bleed over of that? Because that's exactly what it sounded like in the article. This is a bit of you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a part of me and kind of what we do with the band also. So, and it kind of connects also with the bar.
I think it's so great that you kind of blend like the historic kind of Western feel of Nevada, which, you know, I moved here 20 years ago, and that was the one thing that I noticed was that there's this love of Nevada, and you're like bringing this fashion back.
Yeah, and you know, I'm a third generation Reno guy, so I really love Reno, and we just wanted to open a place that kind of encapsulated what Reno was about from the past. You know, something from you know, 60s and 70s kind of Western wear. So we kind of focused on that, and then obviously we have a lot of other things, but we wanted to really try to do something different. Reno, you know, traveling all around the world in the United States, I've noticed that Reno has its own style and its own look, and it's very unique. And we kind of tried to encapsulate that whole look. So.
Well, for me, I want you to pick me out an outfit because I love costumes.
Okay.
I love to dress up.
Right.
I've been wanting to come in here, and I'm not afraid of anything. And I did hear you might even have some badass Evel Knievel gear. Is this true?
I do.
I was a big time Evel Knievel fan when I was a kid. So.
Yeah, and we can get you some. We can get you some of the custom gear that we make. That was another thing that was important to us when we opened this place, was to, you know, not only just sell, you know, high-end curated vintage, but also to get stuff that we could make our own and make special. So there's a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces in here, and so that was like the big push for us to try to do something different in this area also.
You are just like an absolute artist. Like everything about you, your music, this store, the bar. Is this just another creative outlet for you?
Absolutely. This is just like music. This was a love of mine for many years, as far as, you know, fashion, and as far as even collecting one-of-a-kind vintage pieces. So that was something that, you know, if I can make these things a business or something that I can do for a living, it's important to me. So with the music and the bar in this place, booking music and all that, also it was something that was important to me to try to do something that I love, that I'm passionate about, and I think that's very important. So.
Why do you think people love vintage so much? Because it seems like it's really kind of making a mad comeback right now.
That's a good question. It's, you know, I feel that clothing was made a little better a while back, and the cool thing about vintage is a lot of the pieces there's only one of them. And so it's really exciting to be able to wear something that no one else is going to have when you leave the house or go on a trip. And that was something that we took even further by taking these one-of-a-kind pieces and customizing them again. So there's no piece, you know, on earth that's like this. And, you know, we had Dirty Needle Embroidery come in from Hollywood, and he's done a lot of the custom stuff that we'll show you. And he does single needle embroidery, and he's an artist. I mean, he's incredible. We have Jake Houston from Royal Flush Leather, who does leather stamping. So, and they're constantly working, and we're always in here distressing denim or doing stuff like that. So that we're always making things in here, which is fun. It's fun to come to work and do that.
I think too, like there's this need right now. People love couture, and you can actually afford vintage couture, and to have that little own piece or that little added feature of it that makes it totally unique.
100%.
I think we're in this era right now where people want to have a signature look.
Absolutely.
Well, let's do it. Let's get a signature look.
Let's
I'm
look
on
for
it.
one. Perfect. I mean,
I love this. This is amazing. It's beautiful.
And he did this with the single needle, so this is like his nudie suit. So obviously, a big influence for us was the nudie rodeo tailors in Los Angeles. So, and he did, you know, this incredible embroidery on these suits. So we wanted to kind of encapsulate that, and so the store is definitely like is a piece of that, hopefully, that we're trying to bring in. the idea for us is to start creating our own clothes. And Zach Gertis, who's the other owner here, he's making T-shirts and kind of from like old defunct casinos and bars, and those have been a huge hit for us. And those are probably our top seller. Just he's taken.
I love this.
And he's he like kind of put together
These
like a fun
awesome.
little.
These kind of remind me of. I have some good friends of mine. They collect old casino matchbooks, and
I think a lot of his designs have come from those. So that was this has been a hit, and he's doing limited runs. So once they're gone. They're gone, and he's going to do another run soon, and he's doing a lot of rock and roll tees and stuff like that. So the big thing for us is to create and do something that's new and different. And it's not a competition. It's more we're bringing culture here, and there's culture down the street, and Junkies and Bad Apple and all these other stores. I think together we have our own little look.
Yes.
And so it's creating a nice little style corridor through Midtown. And the buildings are beautiful. I mean, this building, this used to be an old Dodge dealership back in the 30s and 40s,
right.
And it was the Dodge Brothers, and it was Dick Damone's Motors. So we decided to pay homage to that. We called this place Dick Diamond's Golden Jackal, like the old casino. So we wanted to have that feel to it.
I love this too, the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys create that? Because that is fantastic.
Well, this is from the horseshoe, the horseshoe in Carson City, and this is from the Nevada Neon Project. Loaned this to us.
It's awesome.
So, and that's another amazing thing. He's doing an incredible job grabbing all these signs and restoring them, and he's going to make a museum out of it here in Reno. So we wanted to, we obviously it's amazing having it in here. So we ended up, helping to restore this one, and we're gonna cherish it as long as we have it. I don't know how long we're gonna have it, but
let's hope you don't have to give that
I know
one back.
it's become a focal point in here, and so that was important for us to take old Reno and pay homage to it, and create a place that people could come in and understand what Reno style and culture is like without having to like be from here.
And you also just like taking advantage of what is already here.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, this is a building with history. It fits what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think you walk in here and it's not just, it's these great clothes, but it's also, hey, you get to walk out with a piece of art
Yes,
from a local artist. You know that you're supporting something. I used to be a mad
we have
roller
a few
skater,
we have a few other places to go. I don't want you to hurt yourself before we get there.
This is rad.
Yeah.
I love this.
So
I would be so cool at the skating rink right now.
100%.
I don't even think you understand me. Like all the 7th grade boys would want me right now.
It's
so.
perfect. And we
I
got
love
the little
it. It's
embellishment
rad.
on the front too here.
And
so
it's just gorgeous too, like the detail that you have with everything.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for taking me back to 7th grade.
Of course, anytime.
All right,
hey,
I'm good.
Fashion's cyclical. It always comes back.
So one of the things you were saying, Pete, is that Midtown, you seem like you're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this fantastic shop. Where do you go? Where do you like to go in Midtown?
I mean, one of my favorite places is Natural Selections. It's right down the street. They do an incredible job. It's very curated. They do a lot of taxidermy and plants, and I think it's the most beautiful store in Reno. Just the way they set it up and their entire vision, they nailed it. So
there's not a lot of people that can say taxidermy is beautiful, so I'm ready to go with you. Let's go.
Perfect, let's do it.
The succulents. I'm a big succulent fan.
This is Natural Selections.
I love this place.
Nice.
I love it.
This is Emily.
Hi, Emily. It's nice that we've met. I've actually popped in here. It's been a little while. I didn't realize the succulents. The succulents are great. So tell us a little bit about how you got started doing this, because there's a lot of really crazy, unique things in here.
It's an interesting story. So when I was in 7th grade, I actually picked up a roadkill marmot on my way home from babysitting. I was reading a biography on Theodore Roosevelt, and one of his hobbies was taxidermy, and I thought it sounded really fun, so I picked up that marmot, and I've been in love with it ever since.
So everything in here you've done?
Actually, they're all old collected things. There's plenty of old taxidermy roaming around. A lot of it, I've just kind of found here and there. The big snake over there is definitely one of my favorites. It was part of a circus act in the 1960s, and it had a heart attack in the middle of one of the acts, and that's how it died.
That is an awesome
And I
story.
was told the reason that it had a heart attack is because it was overweight.
So he's a fat snake. How are you fat at the circus? I thought you were supposed to be working out and stuff. That's interesting. Well, I'm scared of those. I grew up in the Philippines, and I had a 16-foot python that was right behind in our backyard, and it was eating a boar. And it takes a couple days
so
to like
cool.
let that digest. So it was like, see, you thought it was cool. I was like terrified to go into my backyard. So it was like, so why do you love this place, Pete?
Well, we kind of just met randomly. She has a few pieces in the store, and she kind of helped us dress the walls up when we first opened because it was very bare in there. But I just love, this is kind of, we're doing clothing over there,
Right.
and she's kind of doing the same thing with oddities and taxidermy and stuff like that. It's very curated, very, very unique, even like not just unique in Reno, unique
Right.
anywhere. And that, I think that's kind of, we're on the same level there. Just that we're trying to have stores that are unique anywhere in the United States or anywhere else. for that matter.
Weirdos with passion.
Right,
Yes,
I love
exactly.
that. That's
Yeah.
perfect. And then, like, is it like other weirdos that come in and buy? Like, what are some of your common customers? What are they looking for?
It's really interesting. My customers range from, I have mostly women actually, but I'll have like a
'Cause we're
grandfather.
crazy.
Yeah. I didn't say that.
I'll have like a grandfather and his grandkids come in, and the next will be a chick with face tattoos. And I just love this.
That's
I have
awesome.
a very diverse crowd of people.
Well, and I like it too because it's like introducing them to a lot of these animals that are here native to northern Nevada, which I think kind of goes back to you, where Pete, you've talked about bringing that kind of old Nevada and that history that we have back. There's
Yeah.
a need for that, and
Absolutely.
you're doing that as well.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm not going to lie, this buffalo hanging over here is making me hungry.
Well, I need a drink, so let's go to my place, the Loving Cup,
Let's do
and
it.
I'll call over some slices from Blue Moon, and they'll deliver them there. And we
Buffalo
can-
slices?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it. I
Buffalo
love it.
mozzarella. Hey.
See? And it's not buffalo. It's
That'll
pizza,
do.
right?
That'll do.
So it'll be good. I love this. Now, this used to be the biggest little city club.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
Is that why you were like, hey, I want this place?
Well, so it used to be Satellite before
Right.
that, and then those guys took it over, and then they came. The owners came to me with Biggest Little City Club, and they wanted to do a renovation, and they wanted to freshen it up, so they brought me on, and so we this is the place we opened from there. for
But
sure.
I love this. Like I was just saying, like I feel like I'm having dinner with Elvis right now, which is kind of nice.
So these came out of the Fitzgerald's
Love it.
casino. So it's the same thing with my store. A lot of the stuff in here was found objects from old casinos and stuff. So that was kind of a fun project for me to design it. The stools were from the Streeter Bar. So the stools are 100 years old. We redid them.
That's awesome.
And then the down to the booths and the tables were all.
Now,
from
how
there.
did you find it? Like, did someone come into you, or were you like, I'm on the lookout?
They were renovating it to the new place, and I kind of befriended one of the people, and I was like, hey, what are you guys gonna do with those booths?
Right?
And they're like, I don't know, we're just gonna throw them in the dump. So I took it upon myself to go up there and stuff it in a freight elevator and bring it over here. So that's how we got them in here.
That's
so.
a great question. So how many dumpsters have you been in to get some of the
Quite a
stuff
bit.
that I was going to
Quite
say?
a bit, yeah. Unfortunately, I've been quite a bit, and a lot of the stuff is found. So when I opened it, there was some bare walls, and I constantly am out looking for stuff, and I find something and put it in, and the room's really got a lot of personality now. We're 3 years old in October, and I kind of wanted it to feel. I wanted the bar to have more of a feminist feel to it. I didn't want it to be masculine, steel and concrete. I wanted it to
Right.
have velvet, and I wanted it to be kind of warm and inviting. That
And
way,
why
so.
Loving Cup? I mean, when you think about
So-
a bar, this seems like a really
Yeah.
odd name for a
Yeah,
place to come
absolutely.
and have drinks.
So I'm a huge Rolling Stones fan.
Okay.
So as you can tell, Jackson Northam painted this photo for us for the bar. That's Mick Jagger,
I
obviously.
love it.
So the Loving Cup is a Stone song, and just one drink and I fall down drunk is the line in it. So we kind of had some fun with that. I wanted this place to. I like to mix eras as far as design goes. So I obviously have the Art Deco thing going,
Right.
but I also wanted it to feel like Mick Jagger's apartment in the 70s, so that's where the velvet and all that stuff is. So I kind of smashed those together, and this is the aesthetic that kind of came out of it. The wallpaper is from the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Martinique. It's like a classic,
Right,
you
I
know,
was gonna
classic
say,
wallpaper. So
gorgeous, and I feel like a little bit of like Casablanca
yeah,
too when
absolutely,
I'm in here.
yeah.
That's what I feel like.
And that's the fun thing about bars is you kind of make your own. You make your own space. You make up the
Yeah.
rules and kind of create a space that you think, you know, would be welcoming.
So you have taken us to your store, you're a musician, you take us to your bar. You are what I would consider a true artist. Do you feel at times that you have to have that desire to start something new?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. You know, the band definitely came first, and I bartended to make the band work, and I learned how to bartend, and then that's kind of how this came into fruition. And it's one of those things where my passions are constantly shifting, and vintage clothing was another one of my passions. So it's really exciting for me to take my passions and turn them into something that I can do for a living. You know, this bar was a really amazing opportunity for me to bring local musicians in and touring acts that I met on the road with Moondog Matinee, and bring them in here, and we do a lot of live music and live jazz and stuff like that. So it's fun how all these businesses come full circle.
Right. And don't you feel like too that right now there is this energy that's coming from Reno where people are, I'm going to do this. There's no like holding back. I'm going to try it. And
Absolutely.
what would you say to someone that was an artist that's here in Northern Nevada right now? What would you say to them if they were, well, I like this, and then I like that, and I like this? What would your advice be to them?
And that's a great question, because the reason that I'm able to have this is because I didn't move to Portland or Austin, Texas, or San Francisco. I was stubborn, and I stayed in Reno because I loved Reno, and I saw its potential. And there's been people long before me doing amazing, cool things, but there is a more of a spotlight now, so I'm very lucky and blessed for that. But I do think that if people stick around and
make it what you want
it, and if we don't have it, then do it,
right.
like create
Make
it.
it happen.
And that's an exciting time right now. There's a renaissance, and there's a lot of holes in Reno that aren't there yet that people can fill in, and the music scene's incredible here, and the art scene, is
it gets better and better. It's just it's incredible
in the world. And Sculpture Fest, they brought some amazing stuff in here. So there's some really there's incredible momentum right now in Reno, and I only see it going up. I think we're just on the precipice of something amazing, and
absolutely.
And I think there's a lot of people that believe that too. So
well, let's eat local pizza. How about that? I like it. This is another thing I love about Midtown right here. Blue Moon Pizza right next door. You can order pizza and come in your bar.
Yeah, they'll bring it over here. So everyone's working together.
We're doing
Cheers.
it now.
Where did this almond come from?
Pizza's so good. Did you move here because of them? Because I would have.
Yeah.